Estamos aqui em Peruíbe hoje com o grande ilustre conferencista Gary Heseltine, que veio aqui para fazer uma conferência sobre as suas pesquisas que ele tem feito na Inglaterra, né? How did you get interested for the UFO phenomenon?
I had a sighting when I was 16 years old. That had a big effect on me.
Yeah. Oh, so how was it? Can you tell us a little bit?
I was walking with my then girlfriend, and then we saw a bright white light against the background stars that was much bigger, and as it went by us, all the housing went into a blackout, a power cut.
Wow.
We kept watching, there was no noise, and then there was a second power cut. The object was heading in the direction of where I lived, my parents' home.
Yeah.
And I had my bicycle with me at the time, so I got her to go on the bike, two of us on the bike. I dropped her at her house, which was close by, so I went to my local second-hand bookshop and got a book, and the first book that I got was Aliens from Space.
Wow.
By Major Donald Kehoe.
Wow.
And he turns out to be a very important figure in the history of the subject, because he wrote 5 books.
Yeah.
This was his last 5th book, and in that book there was a reference to the 1965 New York blackout, when the eastern border had been plunged into darkness for about 8 hours. Wow. Millions of people trapped in lifts, trains and whatever, and that was rumoured to have been caused by UFOs. I got kind of what happened to me was similar to what happened to them.
O Gary também ele é dos editores da revista UFO Magazine, né, a revista UFO da Inglaterra. Então ele é responsável por receber vários relatos, né, de pessoas em volta da Inglaterra e de outros lugares do mundo para estar avaliando e colocando, né, publicando essas matérias, né, que ele tem feito e tem recebido, né, na Inglaterra.
For 24 years I was a police officer in England,
yeah.
And then I retired early, yeah, because I felt compelled in some way to launch UFO Truth magazine, which is not in print, it's an e-zine, and since 2002, when I went public, when I was 42, with my research into police officer sightings in the UK, I had met many of the world's top researchers. Yeah. So by 2013 I'd already identified people who I thought I would ask to see if they would write for the magazine, and over time I asked them would they be willing to write, and almost everybody said yes, either on a regular column or an occasional basis, yeah, because they're doing their own research, writing books, travelling, etc. And it launched in 2013, and we've just celebrated our 5th year anniversary in April.
Yeah, that's nice. So you are involved to researching a really big and incredible case in UK. So I think it's the Forest case.
The Rendlesham Forest case, yeah.
Yes, I would like to tell us about this case.
Just short version. Right, the Rendlesham Forest case is by far Britain's most famous case, and it happened in late December 1980. And basically it's called the Rendlesham Forest case because a lot of UFO activity took place in the forest between 2 United States Air Force bases, RAF Bentwaters and RAF Woodbridge, and in the middle was Rendlesham Forest. There were incidents on the base as well, but I've been researching this case publicly since 2007. I had a 7-year collaboration with Colonel Charles Holt, retired, yeah, who had been at the time the deputy base commander. Wow. Of the base, and what you've got to understand that this was a nuclear base, and the real essence of the story is that over several consecutive nights multiple UFOs were seen and interacted with the American security police in and around the base, for several days, and there were, I think now, perhaps about 20 different incidents over a 4-day period, but it's all linked to nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Why did they turn up there? Well, it's believed that there were more nuclear weapons stored at RAF Bentwaters than anywhere else in Europe, and if that was true, then it broke the armament agreements between the United States and England, or Great Britain, and so that is a political contention. But at the time, in December 1980, the world was on the possible brink of a Third World War because Soviet Union troops were on the borders of Poland.
Wow.
And they were threatening to invade, which would have caused an East-West conflict. And also there was another major thing happening in the Middle East, which was the Iranian hostage crisis, where I think 52 Americans had been captured and held captive by the Iranian authorities. So that was very political at the time, and I think that's why the UFOs turned up, because I think it was at a time of real danger, potential danger, and I think the UFOs sense that this could be a problem, these nuclear weapons.
Como nós estávamos conversando ontem, né, e pela conferência, ele trouxe novas informações sobre o caso, informações que foram acobertadas. And I would like to you tell a little bit about the new information about this case and about the contact with the aliens that the militaries had.
Yes, from the beginning, the British and the American authorities tried to play down and deny anything that happened. Yeah. But by 1983, a document had been made public called the Holt Memorandum, and that confirmed that multiple UFOs had seen. One on the first night was a triangular object and had been seen on the ground and had left ground trace impressions, and then on 2 nights later, Colonel Holt, who wrote the memorandum, he saw multiple UFOs himself. But the real story that I'm researching at the moment is part of a new documentary called Capel Green, The Truth Behind the Rendlesham Forest Story. It's fair to say that in the last 9 months I have found a lot of new information, new and old, that kind of like been forgotten about, but very important. And I think the story revolves around the original military whistleblower, who was only 19 at the time, called Larry Warren. He's been painted over the years as somebody who's a liar. He wasn't there, he told other people's stories, you know, he just took some of the information and put it out there. It's always been my opinion that that wasn't true. So when this documentary, which I'm co-writing it and the lead researcher, and it's an independent production, it gave me the opportunity to really delve into areas that I'd not done before. And to my surprise, I found many confirmations from other people that proved, that indicated that the incident that he described, which was basically that he'd been taken to a field in the forest and there was a circular patch of strange mist that was just hugging the ground about 18 inches off the ground, and it was about 50 feet in circular diameter. Then a red light comes from the coast, stops, it's about the size of a basketball, and then there's an explosion of light, everybody's eyes are hurting, and when their eyes readjust, there is a craft where the mist had been. And then, even stranger, 3 entities emerge from the craft. Like they slip off as a bubble, one bubble, that then separates into 3 bubbles, and inside each bubble is a head and shoulders.
Oh my God.
So, and then, even crazier as it sounds, senior military people, including the base commander, Colonel Williams, walk into this field, and there is a face-to-face kind of meeting with these 3 floating entities. And that's the real story. But the other thing as well, and this is key to the story, is that the young witness said that there were motion picture cameras on a tripod like this, filming this event.
Oh my God.
And I think now what's clear as to why this young airman has had so much trouble since he went public in 1982 about this, that the real secret is they're trying to cover this meeting with entities in the field. They're trying to cover it up. Wow. And I can understand that, because it's a big thing. But I can tell you that I found many confirmations, at least 10, and there may be as many as up to 15 or 16 confirmations other than the Larry, the original whistleblower. So this is all part of the story that's being filmed now, and the documentary is hopefully going to be released around December this year. So this is what we're working on now, but there's a lot of new information and a lot of old information that has been forgotten about that's very important. Over the last 2 years, since and this was before I even knew that a documentary was proposed, I had known this military witness, Larry Warren, for about 10 years, and I'd always believed that he was there. And then 2 years ago, a campaign that I can prove on paper began to really try to discredit him and say he wasn't there, or he borrowed the story from somebody else. And this is orchestrated on social media, on Facebook in particular, by a small group of people in the UK. However, I can prove that the information is being passed to Colonel Holt.
Wow,
the guy who wrote the memorandum, and who has been particularly vehement against Larry Warren's story, even though he's admitted at various times that he was on the base at the time. Or he may have been out in the forest because he was brand new to the base. But in the last 2 years, there is an ongoing campaign that goes back to Colonel Holt, and a very famous British person in ufology who lives now in America is a guy called Nick Pope. Nick Pope used to run the UFO desk for the Ministry of Defence between 1991 and 1994. This is his reaction, because he's joined in this campaign. And because I have said, no, Larry Warren was there, and there are confirmations, I and the magazine are being targeted almost on a daily basis to try to ruin the magazine, which isn't working, but they are trying. And I've had a lot of personal abuse on social media. And as an example, Nick Pope, who is arguably the most famous person because of his MOD experience, he has said recently, just months ago, that if I was still a police officer, I should be arrested for making this documentary and perpetrating a hoax on the UFO community. Well, you've got to ask this question, well, why would I do that? Why would I sacrifice a reputation that I've built over the years for a lie? I'd get caught out. What's the point? So I think it shows to me that they are very worried about this documentary, because it's independent. Then there is no TV bias, no money bias to say, well, it'll be this way. We can tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and that's what I endeavour to do. And I think they're trying to prevent at all costs the truth getting out about the aliens, the entities meeting with the base commander. I think that's why.
Wow, that's incredible. O Gary, né, ele está trazendo novas informações sobre o caso, está conseguindo várias evidências que comprovam situações novas, né, e que realmente alguns militares estiveram de frente com algumas entidades supostamente extraterrestres, né, e eles estão tentando fazer com que ele não lance esse documentário em dezembro deste ano, né? Estão tentando aí fazer uma parte de acobertamento. Então nós estamos tentando divulgar isso ao máximo para que as pessoas tomem conhecimento desse caso.
came to the edge of this field, Capel Green, and in the field, the first thing I saw was one of our airmen upset, and Robert Ball was talking to him. The guy was scared about something. And so I came in through the trees right there, and then walked forward into this field, and what I could see was a 50-foot diameter, approximately, glowing mist on the ground. And I saw a red light come in. It was the basketball size. It came down over the field in a downward arc, and then went to the top of this mist, and I was not far from it, and there was a flash of light that was blinding. Hurt my eyes, it was documented, and others. All of this is being filmed, and in the place was a triangular, delta-shaped machine, object, craft. And then off the right side of this came like a child's, you know, the big rings where the kid can make a bubble. It just off the fabric of this machine thing came this bluish gold bubble that was about a foot off the ground, and it split into three. And inside that, the upper extremities of what I only can say was a non-human entity. Well, I watched cameras go through the actions of filming, and I know still pictures were taken. We have actual motion picture film of the UFO, and it was given to the F-15 that flew from Germany onto Bentwaters Airfield, not Woodbridge, Bentwaters. And it was handed to the pilot, the canopy closed, and the plane took off. And Mike Verano asked, where's the plane going? And they said, to Germany. What we also know at some point, and this has been lost in time, is that that footage was flown to Washington, D.C. after it was in Germany. A lot of our command people showed up and did witness all this. I'd pass a lie detector on it.
A polygraph test is very accurate.
Yeah.
So, and also the other thing about this, Larry, is it can't tell the difference between a big lie and a little lie. So even if you lie a little bit, you'll still get the same fail results. So that's why I always say to people, if there's anything you need to tell me that isn't truthful in this, tell me now, because otherwise you will fail, even on a little lie.
Fine.
Okay, ready to go do it?
One of my hobbies now is to do infrared filming in the daytime with an infrared lens on the front of the video camera. Just let it play and then review the footage later.
Yeah.
So that's daytime. And the other thing that I do is mount a hitched high definition night vision camera on a tripod. and scan the skies, and it feeds into my laptop. So I don't have to use the eyepiece, and I just scan around looking for objects moving in the sky. And I have found many, many strange objects, multiple objects, many triangular formations, at least 8 times. Triangular objects, not one object, 3 objects moving in perfect triangle, low on the horizon, not way high. I've also seen 4 objects moving together. I've seen objects that suddenly are small and then blow. And, one of the best sequences, which I didn't have with me here, so you've not seen it, is an object that comes towards me that then blows 5 times the size, and then as soon as it goes back down to its original size, it then turns right and punches its way through the clouds. Wow. So that's probably the best one I've got. But yeah, I think these objects, anybody can film them if you just have the right equipment. And so I would urge anybody who is interested, the easiest way to see anomalous objects is night vision and then infrared filming during the day.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, UFO Truth magazine is an English language, but it's designed for simplicity. It's 96 pages. It's every 2 months, so bi-monthly, and it features articles by many of the world's top researchers like Stanton Friedman, Nick Redfern, Steve Bassett, Grant Cameron, AJ, Tiago Tichetti, Susan Hansen from New Zealand, Bill Chalker from Australia, Mary Rodwell from Australia, and many do guest articles over the years. Richard Dolan, for example, people like that. And the idea is to have all of the top researchers under one magazine banner and to present it to the public, and it's not in print, and it's sent direct to your email. So if there are Brazilians living here with a big interest in UFOs, and you can read English, and you want to get the best information from the top researchers, then subscribe, and I'll give Marco the details, and I'm also going to give him a copy of the trailer for the Capo Green documentary. And you can put that out, and as I say, as long as you can read English, then I think you'll enjoy the magazine. And we have subscribers 20 countries around the world.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really nice. About your knowledge about our cases in Brazil, and which one do you think is most impressed? Do you know?
You've got some fantastic cases in Brazil, but probably by far are the ones that occur in the Amazon region, and I was particularly drawn, because I know AJ, to Operation Prato, and that case is arguably the best case in the world, because certainly for a several months in particular, the local people were being attacked by UFOs, causing injuries that then needed medical help. That's all confirmed. The doctors have all gone on the record, the medical staff have gone on the record. That then alerted the community authorities to get involved, who then appealed to the army to get involved. The army turn up, and they, especially in the Colares area, they set up a base there, and they were there for 4 months. And the incredible thing is that during that 4 months they had literally hundreds of UFO encounters, and I believe something to 16 to 20 hours of cinema film was recovered, or video film was taken, which is still being withheld. We know a lot about the case because AJ has shown me, maybe 1,000 pages of documents are already out, but the best stuff is still hidden away, and for me that is an absolutely outstanding case.
Oh, okay, yes. Thank you very much, Gary. I would like to thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to learn more about the information with you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
Isso aí, pessoal. Então estamos aí terminando mais uma entrevista aqui com o famoso e grande ilustre Gary Heseltine, né? E mais informações nós vamos colocar em outros vídeos, né? Com novas entrevistas com outras pessoas e novas pesquisas de campo também nós vamos estar apresentando. Um grande abraço a todos e até a próxima.